Wemby kick the shit out of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and Jalen Brunson cooked Harden's career for good. And that is just some of the takeaways from Game 1 from both conference finals. So, welcome to a brand new podcast. It's The Casual Observer. I am Daniel. I'm your host. I'm a real novice here, so hey, look, bear with me. This will get a lot more serious as we go along. But right now, it's just going to act as a therapy session for me. So no. But look, it's just a fan-based podcast. A lot of weird takes, hot takes, cold takes, and just everything NBA and cricket. So thank you for following along and being part of this journey. But we'll dive right in. Game 1. This has just been recorded actually just before Game 2, Spurs Thunder. So got to get this in quick. But a lot of takeaways, a lot of pages of notes if you're following along by video. But look, Game 1, a lot of anticipation. I think most anticipated series potentially for Spurs and Thunder since the Warriors and Cavs back in the finals. So been a few years since we've had a series like this. But yeah, straight off the bat, walk into the series, you've got two young teams, one proven in the Thunder, one in the Spurs, who just, against all odds, shouldn't be doing this. Being led by 22-year-old Wemby, 21-year-old Castle, 20-year-old Dylan Harper, and De'Aaron Fox out. The only other playoff experience on the team is Luke Cornett and Harrison Barnes. So you're just very Cinderella story so far. But going in, look, odds on FanDuel at least was Thunder minus 260, Spurs plus 210. So look close, but still favouring the Thunder. And yeah, it was boy, did it live up to it. I don't know why you listen to this podcast if you didn't follow along to the game, but the game went back and forth a lot, and we'll break that down as we go. But look, I tell you what, before the game, last minute, De'Aaron Fox out. I thought, geez, that's a lot of pressure on a guy called Dylan Harper who's started 4 games all year. But boy, did he step up. We'll go through his stat line later, but essentially ended up with 7 steals in the game. And the only other player to end up with his stat line was Magic Johnson. So pretty elite company there. But yeah, look, 5 regular season games, and Spurs won that 4-1, including one of the Emirates Cup games. The only game the Thunder won, Wemby did play, but he was on a minutes restriction, so do with that what you will. But yeah, the Spurs have been the only pain in the ass for the OKC team all year. So this series is going to be a big one on rest versus rust, as is the Knicks and Cavs. But look, the Thunder had about a week off, 6, 7 or 8 days, and they've played 8 games in a month, 2 sweeps, and it's going to be one of those ones that as the series drags on, they'll have the advantage, but at the start, I think the team that's played more recently has got the advantage. So that certainly showed out tonight. Jalen Williams is back for the Thunder. He had been out 3.5 weeks with the right hamstring, I believe. No, left one. Right one was during the regular season. But he came back and had no minutes restriction, so that was going to be a huge in. But yeah, it was really going to be, how does he assimilate back into a team that's won 8 straight? So we'll break that down. But essentially, look, if you're into memes, movies, this game just felt like Ron Burgundy sitting back in his office and saying, boy, that got out of hand fast. That game was crazy. That was something else. It was one of those games where it started out and the Spurs got out to a 7-0 lead, and you're like, yep, they've just established the first hit, and how are the Thunder going to respond? And the Thunder responded in a thundery way. They started their lineup with their usual Hartenstein, Dort, J-Dub, SGA, and Chet. And within 3 minutes, Caruso's on for iHeart. So, straight away you can figure out whose series this was going to be. And I made some notes here. It's pretty much from just quick observation, not an Isaiah Hartenstein series. Not really looking like an Aaron Wiggins series. And Lou Dort might be a little bit on the fringes as well. But, quick change at least from Mark Daigneault. And Caruso comes in and scores the first 7 points at least for the Thunder, hitting his 3, layup, steal, layup, and then timeout for the Spurs. So quickly established that the vets, again, as we said earlier, the vets are the ones that are going to really have a say in this series, and the Spurs don't have too many. But then the game settled into a bit more of a modern day rhythm, and that was really good to see that the situation, the stage wasn't overwhelming for the Spurs. So, look, as we go through here, it was very much just cross-matching. Dort started on Harper, J-Dub started on Wemby, Hartenstein / Caruso started on Castle, but that very much quickly became Caruso on Wemby. Chet on Champagny, and SGA started on Vassell. And it was. I thought it was interesting that Chet started on Champagny, considering Champagny's out there for his floor spacing. But at least it allows Chet to kind of roam a little bit. But that still didn't make much of a difference. I think Chet's going to have to end up on Wemby. The fact that Caruso came in and made such a difference, and we all know this by the end of this is the Caruso game, but he came in and he just fearless and just was playing hard. Like as the Thunder have said all year, we're going to play hard defense and you can't call every foul. And he was shoving especially Wemby around. So it was good to see that they weren't just, Mark Dagnall at least wasn't just sitting there just taking every little, we've played this lineup all year, and just rolling with it. He said 3 minutes, I've seen enough, see you later. So that was huge. But you could see early that the Thunder were arguing a lot of fouls, and I think they had four team fouls by the 7:28 mark of the first quarter. So they were actually calling the game quite tight to start with. I thought it was the most amazing officiated game in a long time. So well done to the refs out there. They kept the flow going. 19 free throws for the OKC Thunder and 29 for the Spurs was very watchable. But 14 fouls and arguing when the Spurs are up 12-3 was not a good sign for the Thunder. And a lot from J-Dub. So he came back in. You could tell he was tired early, whether it was nerves or just 3.5 weeks of nothing. But the Thunder definitely composed themselves once Caruso was on the floor. But you could tell early it was going to be Castle aggressiveness versus Caruso aggressiveness on either end. And both players got under the skin of other players pretty quickly. So as we look through, Harper, what do you say about a 20-year-old rookie that just shows up, has to start the game last minute, and just plays with a force that wasn't really matched by OKC other than Caruso. So he was attacking the rim, lots of pressure, up into ball handlers, pressuring them like at least after half court, if not full court. Ended up playing like 48 minutes. That dude was amazing. So you can't say enough about a 20-year-old rookie that has never been in this situation before. So amazing things for him to come. And later on, we'll go through some of the takeaways from this game. But De'Aaron Fox in a few years, I don't know, man. Harper's coming for your spot, my brother. End of the first quarter, 27-27. The Spurs had 5 turnovers, and they'd already averaged 13 per game throughout the regular season. So the Thunder were doing a great job. But they were putting some pressure on Castle and Harper, who without Fox were the main ball handlers all game. So you could see that both sides, their defense led into their offense, and establishing that early was key. But you could tell that Wemby had a bit more of a presence early than Chet did. Chet was playing a little bit like Evan Mobley in some of those games against the Raptors and Pistons, where you just want Chet, Evan Mobley, those players to have a bit more force, have a bit more killer instinct, a bit more fuck you to them. But there's some games where they just don't seem to have it. Evan Mobley seemed to switch it on from game to game, especially when they were down in the series, and it's time for already time for Chet to respond. He ended up with 8 points, 7 shot attempts, only 3 from 2 point. Like that's, bro, you're 7 foot 1, whatever you are. You gotta be doing a bit more than that, my man. Look, by the start of the second quarter, the Thunder had used 11 players already, and that was without Isaiah Joe and without Kenrich Williams. So they were testing the bench early. They weren't getting too many minutes under their players' belts. And whether that's Mark Dagnall figuring out the rotations, who's going to be able to play in this series, what matchups work. I personally didn't love it. I thought, like, what's the old saying? Like, play 8, trust 7, and to be 11 by the start of the second quarter is like, all right, it's a feel-out game, I get it, but I think you could tell pretty early, look, not going to be a Hartenstein, not going to be a Aaron Wiggins, not really going to be a Lou Dort series. And so, look, Kenrich Williams did play a lot in the regular season. He might see some minutes in Game 2. Isaiah Joe, look, just to provide some offense and spacing. But hey, that's his choice. Look, I did make a note at the end of the second quarter. Again, just a really big Wemby quarter, just to establish himself after a bit of a quiet first one. But I did make a note. Thunder were down 51-41, about 40 seconds to go in the half. And Wemby, I think, gets either a layup or a dunk. Doesn't quite follow Chet down to the corner. And Chet gets off a wide open 3 with about 30 seconds to go in the half. And that was his first field goal. So I made a note of that because that made it 51-44. But also, it thought, look, if the Thunder do get up here, that's going to be a big play in my mind because that was just fatigue on Wemby's part, just a little lapse in concentration. But that was a big shot, I think, for Chet and the Thunder. As we all know, this game ended up in a double OT. So that shot, look, I guess wasn't that large, but it was just a play where it's like, that's very un-Wemby-like, and we needed to, make a mental note of that lapse because that was 3 points, I guess, at the end of the day. The Spurs didn't have, have those points to play with. As we come out of halftime, Thunder just ditched the Isaiah Hartenstein experience, start Case and Wallace over him, and that looked amazing early. Did love what Case and Wallace brought to the table. Just a hound on defense, just up in Castle, up in Harper, and I think you might find that the start of Game 2, when that tips off soon, that iHeart is not in the starting lineup. I think that'll be very much a Caruso, Case and Wallace kind of moment. But hey, the Thunder make a big splash to start the third. They come back on a 14-6 run to start the quarter. They are up 58-57. And again, we just settle back in. Honestly, my notes start really large in the first quarter, and then I just sat back and enjoyed the game for a lot of it. So there's a few missed details in that game, but as we watch, hey, look, one of the games of the year. Like that was just fun. It was just fun. You're watching along. You're seeing how each coach goes about it. You watch the Spurs head coach Mitch Johnson go off for basically everyone in the starting lineup played 44 minutes or above, and only Keldon Johnson came off the bench for I think about 20. Everyone else was just ditched. Mark Dagnall went another way. He very much let's spread it out for 11 players. And so look, SGA and Jay Will played a fair few minutes, but they were shared around a lot with Caruso and Wallace as well. So look, as the OT started, J Dub's on the bench. So Wallace is starting for him. It was basically Chet, SGA, AJ Mitchell, Caruso, and Wallace. So they went small, and I think within about 40 seconds, J Dub's back in the game, and it was just. I think maybe it was just rest for J Dub. Who knows? Again, he's coming off a 3.5 week absence, but it's the playoffs. It's the conference finals. I imagine you want your best players out there, and you just want them to push through. So I get it, playing small. You've got 4 ball handlers on that lineup, but it was a tough game as well to watch for AJ Mitchell. So I don't think that was the lineup to go with. But hey, Mark Dagnall spent a lot more time with these players than I have. And another note was the fact it was Wemby's by far his most minutes on the court this year, the most ball screens set this year. So you could tell that this game was one the Spurs wanted, and they were willing to do anything to get it. So they're just playing with that little edge. Not that the Spurs ever walk out there and don't play with a bit of edge. So, look, that was amazing. The logo shot from Wemby just brought back memories of Steph Curry doing it, 10 years ago to him. Just ripping the heart out of the whole crowd. There was one by the end of the fourth quarter where Julian Champagnie got handed a grenade in the corner, and he splashes that 3. There's so many moments in this game where you're like, oh, if this doesn't happen, if this happens, like, Is the outcome different? Yeah, you could say that about any game. Like, there's a 2-on-1 fast break. SGA doesn't give up the ball. Castle does an amazing job defending, and they don't get a score on that one. There's another one where Chet gets an offensive rebound. Vassell blocks him. Just huge game. Big plays. Massive balls on these blokes. Are just no fear. It was huge. And that set up a hell of a series. It's incredible to think we might have 7 of these games. It's something we've been waiting for. We deserve. We've had to watch a lot of shit basketball lately. So this is really good to see. Post-game, injuries. De'Aaron Fox still questionable for Game 2 with his ankle. I don't know. I mean, my personal view is you've got Game 1. You've got home court advantage now if you're the Spurs. Do you put that pressure on De'Aaron? Do you put that pressure on Wemby to back it up 48 hours later and go again? I think I'd play it safe and be like, look, Wemby, you're too important. You're actually sitting this one. We might be throwing this game in a way. But they did beat the Spurs a couple of times without Wemby, so in the regular season. I would rather a healthy Wemby, healthy De'Aaron Fox. I know, controversial take. No NBA coach will ever do it, but if he goes down with a soft tissue injury, that's over. It's series over. So I know you're just playing what if game, but he's a 7'5" alien. We don't know what his body can handle. He's done all the training in preseason, but he's 22. He's still growing into his body. He's not fully developed. It's a huge risk, but hey, they've got enough training staff there to make that decision. Luke Cornett might be day to day with his ankle, but I think he'll play, especially if Wemby is protected. Another takeaway, or post game at least, is Stephon Castle had 11 turnovers, and most of them were attacking the rim, which is good, but they are live ball turnovers, so that turned into Thunder offense pretty quickly. Was a bit worried about him complaining at calls consistently, but I guess he's getting a lot of contact. It's a physical series, and at least he can dish it out on the other end. But yeah, it just showed you the power of De'Aaron Fox. Was 11 turnovers for Castle. He still had a great game, don't get me wrong, but yeah, big turnover game for him. He'll get a lot of learnings out of this, and the fact that the Spurs won that game still is incredible. Big fan. So Spurs end up with 21 turnovers. Season average against the Thunder was 13. So I don't know what you want to take out of that. If you want to take out the fact that they had 8 more turnovers than usual and still won, that's one thing. They're now 5-1 in the series over the year. Or if you're the Thunder, you're like, we can generate 21 turnovers, we should be winning that game. And if we play that game again, we probably win. So you can find it from both points of view. But hey, game isn't played on paper, it is played out there, and the Spurs are at 1-0. Expected field goal percentage, 55% from the Thunder is what they expected on the shot quality that they got. And it was true, like you saw a lot of wide open threes just clanked off the ring. So that's another positive for the Thunder. They actually shot 37.8, so 17 of 45. So yeah, again, another positive for the Thunder is we're getting good shots. It's just missing him, and that's where it might be a more Isaiah Joe, more McCain, just trying to take that scoring pressure off SGA and J Dub. But hey, the defense is always going to be good, so I think you can sacrifice a little bit with Isaiah Joe and McCain. But what lineups you want to use them in while also having minutes for Wallace and AJ Mitchell and Caruso, that's a Mark Dagnall problem, but I think you can pretty much give those minutes from Isaiah Hartenstein and Aaron Wiggins, even some of Lou Dort, straight to those guys, and I don't think you'll skip a beat. So they're the adjustments I'd expect to see, at least for Game 2. Caruso, you're a legend, but career game, 31 points, like 8 of 14 from downtown, only 2 steals. Pretty sure he had at least 12, but hey, it just looked very different watching than on the stats. So look, I'm not sure you lose that game if you're the Thunder. Like, can you afford to lose that game? Like, no. Like, are you ever going to get a 31-point game, 8 threes from Caruso again? Probably not. So I feel like you have to win that game, man. So yeah, I'm slightly biased on that one, but I feel like that was a missed opportunity for OKC. Little less pressure on them, obviously playing at home, but being rested. But I wouldn't have said the Spurs are all that tired, having played 11 games versus the Thunder's 8. So, but yeah, if we look at the box score, look for Caruso, just. I think that the Spurs clearly were like, you're going to shoot as much as we want you to. And he had 19 shots, 11 and 19. 1 of 3 from the free throw line. But yeah, if you're the Thunder, you'll take that every day. That's huge support. The thing you won't take is 7 of 23 for SGA and 11 of 25 for J-Dub. And some of the shots J-Dub took, I thought, what are you doing? Honestly. You've just come back from 3.5 weeks. I know you're trying to establish yourself. I know you're trying to take the pressure off SGA, but Jesus Christ, there are some shots up against Wemby, Vassell, Cornet, Papa, Castle that you're like, that's a tough shot for anyone, let alone a guy that doesn't have his full elevation back. So I thought he could have been a lot better. 3 assists, I thought he could have had probably about 6 or 7 if he just made the right play. Again, what the right play is for my opinion versus other people's, that's debatable. But 26 points on 25 shots and only 2 turnover, but yeah, it wasn't, I don't know, it just didn't feel like he contributed in a meaningful way in that game. So as he establishes himself and gets back in the series, gets some miles under the legs again, he'll be huge for the Thunder. But I don't think I would have wanted him shooting 25 shots personally. So I would have rather Shea force a few up, or heck, check Holmgren shoot more than 7 shots would have been nice. But their starting lineup, everyone except iHeart was in the negatives for the plus minus. Shea played 51 out of 58 minutes because of the double overtime, and was a negative 15. So they lost by 7. So basically in the minutes that he was on the floor, they were losing those badly. So yeah, it was odd to see. That's why plus minus hard to go off, but it was very interesting that Shea was technically the worst player on the floor, which is definitely not true. So plus minus, yeah, take what you want out of that. But McCain was a plus 9, AJ Mitchell plus 7, and Caruso a flat 0. So look, take what you want out of the stats. When you watch with your eyes versus when you watch look at the scorecard, it's two different things. So a lot of positives for the Thunder, but if I'm the Spurs, I am so thrilled. It's just no game is ever getting thrown away. You're in every game when you've got Wemby and you've got these 2 amazing guards. Huge stuff. But takes me to the takeaways. What's De'Aaron Fox's place in this in a couple of years? He's been told, some of the reports that we got live watching the game, he's been a great mentor for Dylan Harper and Stephon Castle. So when you're good around the community, good mentor, the team obviously wants you to stay, but getting paid, I think it's 40 odd million a year for the next 4 years, you're going to have to pay Wemby, going to have to pay Castle, going to have to pay Harper. Julian Champagne's making $3 million a year. If you want to keep him, that's going to be a huge raise. Obviously, Vassell and Keldon are on their current deals, so they're fine. But yeah, you just wonder, like, does he have a place on the team in 2 years? Because Harper is emerging quickly. So, it's hard to kind of train your replacement, but I think that's what De'Aaron Fox is doing. I mean, he's a great player, but I don't know. Me watching, everyone's kind of got their opinion, of course, but when I'm watching, I just don't think he plays with as much force yet as he did in Sacramento. I know Sacramento was his team and the Spurs is Wemby's, but yeah, he just looks sometimes very out of place. And that might just be a fact that he's trying to get everyone involved. But yeah, it's just when you're watching, it's just different. It's a different experience with De'Aaron Fox than when the Light the Beam team was cranking. So yeah, just thoughts on De'Aaron Fox. I mean, what are you moving for if you do move him? I would keep him around for as long as I could, but once the money gets tight, I think he's going to be the one that leaves. Carter Bryant, like, far out, another rookie. Like, bro, you're amazing. Amazing. Like, you look like Aaron Gordon when the Nuggets won the chip in 2024. Like, already. Like, yeah, your 3-point shot will come along. You stop doing dumb fucking fouls when you defended SGA well for 18 seconds and then he pump fakes and you're up in the air. Like, I get that, you're a rookie, you're excited, but oh my God, like, what a guy, what a player. Like, I just got the utmost respect for the fact that the Spurs said, I like the look of that guy, we're drafting him, and they're playing him. They're playing him in big moments, so he was huge. He just looks exactly like that Aaron Gordon swing piece, that glue guy. And you can only imagine where Harper, Castle, Wemby and Bryant are going to be in 4 years' time. Like, that Thunder Spurs matchup will be all time. But yeah, just big one on Carter Bryant. Just feed that guy minutes, man. Like, he's going to make mistakes. I mean, we saw Castle make 11 mistakes. Like, it's just, you got to live with it. And I think he's worth investing in. So, that takes you to Giannis trades. Why the Spurs, with no interest, the Thunder no interest in Giannis. Like, they've got young players, they've got contracts that are very nice on their books for years to come, and why would you give up, say, Carter Bryant and someone else in a trade, when you can just develop them and they look so good early? Like, I see why the Spurs stayed away from that. So whatever they do in the off season, I think I'd be trying to establish Carter Bryant a little bit more firmly in that rotation next year. Another one is, as you're watching this game, that Josh Giddey trade looks horrendous for the Bulls. Just worse and worse every minute that Caruso's on the floor. And the rest of the league must be looking at the Bulls being like, fuck you wankers. You gave the Thunder exactly what they needed, and you didn't make them give up any assets. So, yeah, it was, it's just hard to watch when you're a Bulls fan. I'm a Miami Heat fan through and through, but you do get mad watching other teams just give good teams players that they clearly need for nothing. So, other than that, really, really looking at Chet just being like, bro, time to step up. Hey, look, I get it. Like, you may not have been in it. You may have been a little bit, pushed to the side a bit, whatever it was. Like, but dude, you've been the second man in this team all year, and to then go and just disappear like that. I don't know. Like, Wemby's talked this rivalry up. You gotta. I know you don't have to. You don't have to take any part of it, but Jesus, you should bloody have some pride, have some ego, and game 2 just smash that guy. Guard up against him half the game. Just put your chest through him. And hey, if it works, it works. If it doesn't work, at least you tried. You've got to be willing to fail. That's what Wemby's so good at. Is he's trying stuff. He's happy to fail. He's happy to make mistakes. He's learning. Some players look a little scared, and again, it's an Evan Mobley, Chet Holmgren thing for me, where they look a little, not frightened at the moment, but just happy to have games off and not assert themselves. And you're like, no, like your team needs you. Like, so game 2 will be huge, to see if he's switched on or not. So, but yeah, amazing game, amazing series. I swear to God, if the Spurs steal game 2, I think it's a 92% chance that the team that breaks home court and takes the first 2 games on the road wins at 92% of the time. So, if you're the Thunder, it's not must win, but it kind of is getting on that point where you don't want to be trying to win 4 out of 5 against this team. So hey, looking forward to game 2 in a few minutes. Quick one on Cavs and Knicks. Obviously not as good a game as Spurs Thunder, but I mean, it held its own. That went to overtime. First time in history. Both the first game of the conference finals have gone that far. OT and double OT. So, huge. I actually quite enjoyed watching that game until the end. And I'll explain why in a tick. Pre-game odds were Knicks minus 250, Cavs plus 200. That looked fair to me. I thought the Knicks were rolling. The Knicks had 9 days off, I think. So that's that rest versus rust. Like, they were, they could have gone to Cancun. They could have gone to anywhere and had a nice 4-day holiday and come back and still had plenty of time to prepare for the series. So you could see early that they were rusty. They didn't have that same fizz connection, that energy. But the 9 days off did them well because OG came back. Way less miles now suddenly on Brunson and Cat. So, again, I'm always on the side of rest and fresh legs. But hey, game starts. normal lineups for both teams, and you could just see that the Cavs had that intensity straight dialed up, and the Knicks just needed they needed a quarter. But yeah, it was a bit low scoring after the first few minutes. Halfway through the second quarter, it's 38-27 to the Knicks. Like 27 points for the Cavs. I mean, not ideal at all. But then the Cavs just turned it on in that third quarter, and they play the lineup that I think is the best lineup for the Cavs. So they go with 3 role players, usually shooters, and they had the lead guard and a big. So they turned to Harden, Strus, Merrill, Dean Wade, and Jared Allen, and then they just swapped out Jared Allen for Evan Mobley and Harden for Mitchell. So that lineup's perfect. I mean, you've got the ball handler, you don't have to defer to anyone, you've got shooters in both corners, you've got defenders, like Strus has been defending his ass off, and they go on a hell of a run. So they're up 93-71, 8 minutes to go in the fourth, and that's when just shit hit the fan, hey? Like, it turned a selfish asshole hero ball for the Cavs, and there's no real reason why. Like, the Knicks didn't change their defense, they didn't change their matchups. Kenny Atkinson decided, let's go away from the lineup that got us the lead, and let's just go Harden, Mitchell. I think it was Merrill, but at one point I think it was definitely Dean Wade, and then it was just both bigs, Mobley and Allen. And Brunson just had this vendetta against Harden, as he should have. He just decided that it's going to be iso ball, pick and roll, Harden's in everything, and just took that guy to the cleaners. Like, Harden, he's got extra size like, Garland didn't have before the trade, but didn't matter. Like, Brunson was going through his chest, he was blowing by him, he was drawing too when they gave up on the isolating Harden, so they would send Merrill, and then all of a sudden it would just be swing, open corner, drive to the rim. It was hard to watch, and that's why I say it's hard to watch. Great to watch as a Knicks fan, but geez, watching as a basketball purist, you're like, one, if you're Kenny Atkinson, do you have eyes? Like, do your eyes fucking work? What are you doing? Like, Harden's just been cooked for 8 straight possessions, and he's done nothing on the offensive end. Maybe swap him out for Strus or Jalen Tyson or Dean Wade. Someone, anyone, get him off for a few minutes and see what that looks like. I know you got to ride with your guys, especially a guy making 30 odd mil, 40 mil, whatever he's making, but it annoys me. It's just like, sometimes you got to go with who's playing well. Strus was playing well, Merrill was playing well, and even Schroeder was playing decently. Look, I don't think it's going to be a Schroeder series, but hey, Harden was getting cooked and you needed to do something, and you didn't. And I thought that was just negligence. Just complete negligence from Kenny Atkinson. He called a couple of timeouts, but like, the guy's just been cooked 8 straight times. Like, at some point, use your fucking head and get him off. Whether he likes it or not, this is a big game. And they didn't, and it went to overtime, and the Knicks cooked. Basically, I've got in my notes, it was a 44-11 run from the Knicks in the final 12:48 of this game. So the last 7 minutes 49 of the fourth quarter and 5 minutes of overtime. So you're telling me the Cavs scored 11 points. It's less than a point a minute. It's horrendous. The only reason they got that much is because Evan Mobley hit a pretty clutch 3, honestly. So I don't know. And as soon as Strus came back in the game in overtime, he hits a 3. So I don't know. There's adjustments to be made, but sometimes you just look and you're like, look, were you overwhelmed? Did your game plan just go to shit? Like, what's going on? Like, I just flabbergasted. I can't believe what we just watched. But hey, there's changes to be made. But really, with the big takeaway is the Cavs have to win 5 out of 7 to win the series. And I say 5 because they had that game won. Like, they played with their brain. Like, they were going on their possessions and just milking the clock. Like, they weren't just rushing shots up either. But they had that game won and basically snatched a loss from the jaws of victory. Like, it was... So yeah, that winning that 5th game is like, you had that game won, now you still got to win 4 more because you didn't get the dub. So Yeah, just crazy. Like, Jared Allen had 2 great Game 7s. No show here. Evan Mobley started to assert himself in the first and fourth quarter, but nothing in the middle of the game. Cat started to look like himself on the Knicks, but dumb fouls. Like 2 on Jared Allen where he's just pulling the bloke. Like, if you don't touch him, your team probably wins in normal regulation. But hey, look, good to have OG back. Good to have Mikal Bridges defending his ass off against Mitchell. Good to have Brunson just cooking again. The Knicks crowd was amazing. Dead quiet when they were down 22, but amazing to really follow along once they were humming. So that was real good, and always good to see. Like, I love seeing like Ben Stiller, Chalamet. Love seeing the stars on the front row there getting amongst it. So, Spike Lee. Love the vibe, but lots of changes to be made. My takeaways from that one is very much just, keep playing team basketball. Go with the guys that are hot. If you're the Cavs, like, go to this selfish asshole hero ball. It's a pet hate of mine. Like, I hate it. Like, you might as well just have Cam Thomas, who's I don't think even signed to a team at the moment, on the team. Like, it doesn't work. It might work in the regular season, but when a team can just load up on you and game plan for 7 games, just play as a team. It's a team sport. Yeah, just suddenly throwing up ISO ball, 1 pass shot. Like, it's just, you'd back yourself to win a game up 22 with 8 minutes left still, I get that, but you deserve it, in my opinion. Like, you just play the right way to the end. Run through the tape. Don't do this, like, throw up shit and just try and pad your stats. It's just, you come off looking stupid, honestly. So, it'd be interesting to see. No Jalen Tyson in the first game. Very little Keon Ellis. The fact that Keon Ellis is worth, 3 draft picks apparently at one point. I bet the Cavs are glad they only gave up DeAndre Hunter because the Kings are a bit tapped. But hey, look forward to this series as well. But yeah, tonight Game 2 has started. I'll be on the delay now, but cannot wait to watch the Spurs and Thunder. But hey, amazing start to the conference finals. This is what basketball's all about. Four best teams in the league left. It's on. So let's dive in and watch that. Just going to finish with a segment called Fraud Watch. This is where, again, big list if you're following along on the video, but Fraud Watch is just a player that I'll pick every now and again that has just irked me. Again, hot take, cold take, agree, don't disagree. We're just all fans at the end of the day, so join in with some of the banter if you like. But Asar Thompson, Fraud Watch. What the fuck, man? Like, just, you can tell this guy and his brother, Amen Thompson, they were just beyond athletic, beyond anything in their age group when they were growing up. And the reason you could tell that is they never worked on their offensive game. No shot, no little post, there's no little push shot, there's just nothing. It's just dunks and putbacks. Like, it's because they basically were dominating at the young ages and just could jump out the gym over everyone that they were playing against. So it really annoys me to see that, because you're like, look, like, you got to this level and sheer talent and sheer athleticism that's just like, you're the top 1% athlete in the world. But damn, man, like, you better get in the fucking gym this year, like, this off season, because you aren't the only reason that the Pistons lost. Believe me, Jalen Duren and Isaiah Stewart and everyone. But yeah, like, damn, man, it was really hard to see, like, you becoming a bit of a villain in your own way, where you're pushing guys around and you're getting angry and all this, and you're like, it's because you don't have enough skill on one end of the floor that you've got to compensate on the other end of the floor. And so defensively, a menace. Cavs' game plan was, if Asar Thompson is guarding you, get the ball out of there, which is so fair. But offensively, you're basically playing 4 and 5, and I reckon the Cavs couldn't have been any happier when that guy was getting shots up. So, I don't think if he does improve. Look, there's always a place in this league for defense, but you might be a 20 minutes a game kind of player, and it's going to be really hard to see that talent go to waste. So, if the Pistons end up paying this guy, I don't think he's due for another couple of years at least, but if they end up paying him a big contract along with Duran, I think there's going to be it's going to be an interesting couple of years in the future for them, because you don't want gross contracts in the current environment of the NBA, and yeah, they've got a couple of big decisions to make, but Asad Thompson is on fraud watch. Thank you so much for being part of our first episode. As I said, it's going to be an amazing journey. Here to talk shit and really just, use this as a therapy session. No. But yeah, just get a lot of takes off the chest, and hey, if you love it, agree with it, let's talk basketball. I love this stuff. So hey, we'll catch you after the next couple of games. So until next time.